Have you ever wondered if ancient civilizations had contact with aliens? Today, we're diving into some mind-blowing theories that suggest they might have had a little help from our friends from outer space. Buckle up, because we're about to explore the intersection of archaeology, ancient texts, and the possibility that we are not, and have never been, alone in the universe. We're talking pyramids, people. Giant, intricate structures perfectly aligned with the stars, built by civilizations that supposedly hadn't even invented the wheel yet. Give me a break. So let's talk about ancient civilizations for a second. These are the societies that laid the groundwork for everything we know today. We're talking about cultures that existed thousands of years ago, long before the Roman Empire, before the Greeks, even before those guys with the chariots and the really impressive beards. These civilizations were the true pioneers. These were the OG civilizations, the pioneers of human advancement. They were the ones who first ventured into the unknown. But here's the thing that always trips me out. These civilizations, they weren't just figuring out how to make fire and pointy sticks. They were doing so much more. They were building massive structures, developing complex languages and writing systems, and charting the stars with an accuracy that's frankly embarrassing to us modern humans. Seriously, think about it. They had a grasp on the cosmos that we are still trying to fully understand. The Sumerians, they were writing on clay tablets like it was nothing. They had a system of writing that was incredibly advanced for its time. They had a sophisticated system of mathematics, astronomy, and law. Their knowledge was vast and impressive. They even had stories about gods descending from the heavens in fiery chariots, which, come on, sounds a lot like something out of a science fiction movie, right? It's almost as if they were describing something they had actually seen. And it's not just the Sumerians. Other ancient cultures had their own incredible achievements. You've got the Egyptians building pyramids with such precision that it defies explanation, even with modern tools and technology. The alignment and construction are still a mystery. The Mayans, with their intricate calendars and understanding of astronomy that's just mind-boggling. Their knowledge of celestial events was incredibly precise. Look, I'm not saying aliens came down and built these things themselves, but the level of sophistication is hard to ignore. But what I am saying is maybe, just maybe, they gave our ancestors a little nudge in the right direction, a bit of guidance that helped them achieve these feats. A cosmic helping hand, if you will. It's a fascinating idea to consider. Think about it like this. Let's say you're trying to teach a chimpanzee how to build a fire. It's a complex task for them. You could show them how to strike a match 1,000,000 times, but they're probably not going to get it. The concept is too advanced. But what if you gave them a lighter? Suddenly, the task becomes much simpler. Suddenly, they're making fire, and you're thinking, damn, that chimp's a genius. It's a leap in understanding with a little help. Maybe it's the same with ancient civilizations. They had a leap in knowledge that seems almost too advanced for their time. Maybe they were visited by beings with technology so advanced, so far beyond our understanding, that it seemed like magic to them. This technology could have been the key to their advancements. And maybe these beings, these ancient astronauts, shared some of their knowledge with our ancestors, giving them a jump start on civilization. It's a theory that makes you think. It's a wild theory, I know. But sometimes the wildest theories hold a grain of truth. But the more you look into it, the more you start to see these little connections, these weird coincidences that make you wonder if maybe, just maybe, there's something to it. The mysteries of our past might hold more secrets than we realize. Let's talk about the Sumerians, man. These ancient people were nothing short of extraordinary. These guys were the real deal. They laid down the foundations for what we now call civilization. We're talking 3500 BC, they pop up in Mesopotamia, which is present-day Iraq, and boom, civilization as we kind of know it is on. They built cities, developed complex societies, and created monumental architecture. They invented writing, for crying out loud. This was a game changer for humanity, writing. You try scratching symbols on clay tablets that represent abstract thoughts. It ain't easy. But they did it, and it allowed them to record their history, laws, and even literature. But here's where it gets wild. Their contributions didn't stop at writing. The Sumerians, they had these stories, these myths about these beings called the Anunnaki. These myths were deeply ingrained in their culture. Now, the Anunnaki, according to Sumerian lore, were these super advanced beings that came down from the sky, and get this, they created humans. This was their explanation for human origins. Yeah, you heard that right. Created us. It's a fascinating concept that has intrigued historians and enthusiasts alike. They tell this whole story about how the Anunnaki needed workers to mine gold, so they messed around with some primate DNA, and bam, humans. It's like a tale of ancient genetic engineering. It's like ancient genetic engineering, man. The idea that they could manipulate DNA is mind-blowing. I'm not saying I buy it wholesale, but it makes you think, doesn't it? The creativity and imagination of the Sumerians were unparalleled. And it's not just the Anunnaki. Their mythology was rich and diverse. The Sumerians, they had a whole pantheon of gods and goddesses, and these weren't your run-of-the-mill deities either. Each had unique attributes and stories. They were associated with planets, with stars, with celestial events. Their understanding of the cosmos was impressive. It's almost like they were describing astronomical phenomena in a way they could understand. You know, they were early astronomers in their own right. And get this, the Sumerians, they had this god named Enki. He was one of their most important deities. Enki was the god of wisdom, water, mischief, creation, you name it. His influence was vast and his stories were legendary. Okay, let's talk about the pyramids, baby. These things are like the poster child for ancient alien theories, and for good reason. I mean, have you ever seen these things up close? The sheer size and scale are mind-blowing. They're massive, they're perfectly aligned with the stars. And they were built with technology that, on paper, the ancient Egyptians shouldn't have had. It's almost like they had some kind of advanced knowledge. We're talking about millions of tons of stone, cut and transported with incredible precision. Imagine the effort and coordination required. The Great Pyramid of Giza alone is made up of over 2 million blocks, some weighing as much as 80 tons. 80 tons! That's heavier than a fully loaded 18-wheeler truck. That's like stacking 100 elephants on top of each other. Can you even imagine that? And these weren't just random piles of rocks. Each block was meticulously placed. The pyramids are aligned with the cardinal directions with pinpoint accuracy. It's like they had a giant compass. The Great Pyramid's base is almost perfectly square, with each side measuring over 750 feet. That's a level of precision that's hard to achieve even today. And the ventilation shafts inside the pyramid, they point directly towards certain stars like Orion's belt. It's like they were trying to communicate with the cosmos. Now, the mainstream explanation is that the Egyptians built the pyramids using ramps, rollers, copper tools and brute force, but is that really the whole story? All right, let's head down to Peru and talk about something that'll really fry your circuits, the Nazca Lines. Picture this, a vast desert plateau, bone dry, stretching as far as the eye can see. And etched into this desert floor, these massive geoglyphs, hundreds of them, some stretching over 1,200 feet long. You've got hummingbirds, spiders, monkeys, geometric shapes, all sorts of crazy designs. Now here's the kicker, you can only really see these things from the air. So, how the hell did the Nazca people, who were around from 200 BC to 600 AD, create these massive earthworks without the ability to fly? That's the million-dollar question, and honestly, nobody really knows for sure. The traditional explanation is that they used grids, ropes, and a whole lot of manpower, and while that's definitely possible, it seems like an insane amount of effort for something you can barely even see from the ground. It's like writing a message on your roof in the hopes that someone flying overhead will see it. All right, folks, let's journey to ancient India, a land steeped in spirituality, wisdom, and some seriously trippy tales. We're talking about the Vedas, the Mahabharata, the Ramayana, ancient texts filled with stories of gods, demons, and flying machines called Vimanas. Now, these weren't your average hot air balloons, folks. The Vimanas are described in these texts as being made of metal, powered by some kind of mercury vortex engine, and capable of flying at incredible speeds. They're depicted as chariots of the gods, armed with weapons that could level entire cities. I know what you're thinking. Joe, you're losing it. Mercury vortex engines. Come on, man, I hear you. But just listen to some of these descriptions. The Mahabharata talks about a vimana that could move like a thought, and at the speed of mind. It describes weapons that could cause a great shaking in the earth, and a terrible noise, and scatter clouds and rain. So there you have it, folks. We've journeyed through time and space, explored ancient ruins, deciphered cryptic texts, and pondered the possibility that we are not alone in the universe. Whether you believe in aliens or not, one thing's for sure, these ancient civilizations were on to something. They possessed knowledge and skills that we're still trying to comprehend today. So the next time you look up at the stars, ask yourself, are we really alone, or is that there's something more out there? Something ancient, something powerful, something that just might blow your mind. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more mind-blowing content.